What's the setup, you may ask? Well, the setup is everything you have to do before unpausing the game. As you can see, we are on the EU5 starting date, the 1st of April. So everything we do before the 2nd of April is part of the setup. Now, how is this setup any different from the EU4 one? The only way to know is to compare them. And while there are some similarities, such as doing your state setup, hiring advisors or cabinet members in EU5, or saving money by mothballing your forts and lowering army maintenance, which you only do if you're not planning to declare on the first month take on EU4. Most of the things have changed, and while very few are from the EU4 side, such as the national focus being deleted because there's no mana in EU5, or being able to summon the diet instantly once you start the game, unlike in EU5 where you have to wait 3 whole years to call the parliament. Most of the changes are from the EU5 side. For example, this is the States tab, and as you can see it's very different from the EU4 one, because even if we still have Crown Power, which is equivalent to Crown Land in EU4, there is no Seize Land button, meaning that if we want to centralize the power for ourselves, we have to make our states lose power. But as you can see, the nobility, for example, is getting most of their power from their privileges. But if we want to make them remove a privilege, we have to spend a lot of stability, a stability we don't have. And this cost is so big because of their power. If you check the commoner's cost, you can see we can revoke the privilege because it's cheap. This of course influences how we approach our state setup, but we'll go back to this later because there's something we have to check before that. And this thing is the values tab. The values tab, as you can see, is the core of our nation, because for example, if we go more centralized, we can get up to 50% crown power and other stuff, but if we go decentralized, we can get up to 20 loyalty of subjects among other stuff. As you can see, we haven't filled the bar, meaning that we don't have 20 loyalty of subjects, we have 6 instead. Now, this is important because aside from a few values, such as innovative, being clearly better than traditionalist, or aristocracy and plutocracy being both bad, meaning that you will want to keep a balance at 0 between both of them, you will want different values in every game depending on how you play this game. And you might want to know why is this relevant to the state setup. Well, this is because the states, as you can see, give you progress to certain values. This means you will have to read what does each value do and decide with which ones do you wanna play your game. And after doing this, you can finally go to your states tab and grant a reform for yourself. As you can see, most of them do different things, but I recommend going with autocracy every time because it gives you more crown power. Now after doing this, you are finally ready to go and do your state setup. But there's something very different from the EU4 state setup as well. As you can imagine, and you can clearly see, there's a political power shared between you and all of the states. This means if you grant some state some privileges that gives them power, such as represented in parliament to the commoners, this will make them more influential. Thus, the other states and you will be less influential. This is a double-edged sword because you can make some states, such as the nobility, less influential to be able to afford removing privileges from them. But as you can see, granting privileges to some state makes them more loyal, but makes every other state more disloyal, such as the nobility. Now imagine we want to keep the nobility loyal, so we grant them elite council. Now they are more loyal and also more influential. But now the burghers are disloyal, so you go and grant something for the burghers to make them loyal again, such as urban development grants. So to summarize it, you want to make your state setup based on the values you want to get, on the joint influence of all the states, and on the satisfaction of each state. Now we go on with the cabinet, which is a new EU5 mechanic and one of the most important ones because it grants our nation very powerful bonuses, from changing our societal values towards something we want to get, to increasing a province control or stabilizing our country. For example, I'm going to take stabilized country for my first cabinet action, and as you can see, the efficiency of this cabinet is increased by 26%. But if we appoint a cabinet member with high meal skill, we will increase that efficiency. Now, it would make sense to assign the guy with the highest meal skill, right? Well, not every time, because as you can see, this member is part of the Neapolitan nobility. If I grant this guy the seat on the cabinet, this will make the nobility more influential. Instead, we can take this guy, Luigi Angio, which is slightly worse, but it will increase our crown power. As you can see, we get plus 12.5% because of Luigi Angio being in the cabinet. This means you can manipulate the state's power by taking a different cabinet member. For example, if we wanted to make the nobility more influential, then we could take a cabinet member from the nobility. If we wanted to make the same for the clergy, then someone from the clergy. And if we wanted to make our crown more powerful, then we take someone from our crown. Now, the last thing you can do with your cabinet is making someone the head of your cabinet. And this doesn't only make him more efficient at working on the cabinet, but it will also give very nice buffs to the state this guy belongs. Now, as he belongs to the crown, so if we make him the head of the cabinet, then we will get more crown power, as you can see just here. Now, these are the laws. The laws are things that give your country buffs and debuffs. So if one of them is really bad, such as distribution of power, you can change it for other one that's better, such as favor the ruler, at a high stability cost. Usually you wouldn't do this because of the high stability cost, but you can always just keep this in mind until you can call a parliament and change it here. This is the balance tab, and this is where by moving your sliders you can get more income or expenses. Usually what you wanna do is to tax your estates as much as you can without making them disloyal, and mint as much as you can without getting inflation. Now this is the market tab and goes along with the trading one. If you automatize one of them, the other one will get automatized too. This is where you can manage the goods on your market and choose to sell more of it somewhere, get more of it from somewhere, or build more of it by building some buildings to increase the production or expand the NGOs. But this is some concept that's hard to grab at the start, so usually you will just automatize it until you get how the trade works. Now, as long as you don't have any other notification, the last thing you want to do in your setup is to spend all of your money. If you are a rich nation, such as Naples, then what you usually do is go to the buildings tab in the production tab and go to the nobles buildings. Check if you can build a royal court in your capital. This is because you get a lot of crown power and efficiency of your cabinet from it. I already have one, so I can't build it. Then do the same, go to soldiers buildings and check if you can build a sergeantry. This is because you can recruit regiments here, it gives you crown power and it gives you monthly manpower. Again, we already have one, so we can't build one. And then this is completely optional, but you can go to clerics buildings and build hospitals on places you want to protect from the Black Death, because as you can see it gives you disease resistance plus 10%. It's completely optional and it doesn't prevent the Black Death from killing people in this location, but you can always do it on places where you have high control, such as Naples or Salerno, just like this. Then after doing this, or after skipping it, if your nation isn't that rich, the next thing you want to do is to go to the Goods tab in the Productions tab and open the RGO builder. This is because this is the most efficient way to get money early on, improving your RGOs. You usually want to max your RGOs in every single area. Where do you do this first? Again, as always, on places you have high control, such as Naples or Salerno. But some other places have better goods and give you more money, even if you have low control on it. You can micromanage this by doing it by yourself, or just spam max expand RGOs. You will get a lot of money either way. Now, after having done all of this, your setup is done, and so is my video. So, if you liked it, leave a like. If you wanna tell me something, leave it on the comments below and consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and see you on the next one. Bye bye.